I'd like to welcome Nathan Carls to the screen now. Hi, Nathan, and thank you for joining me.
It's all right. Thanks for having me, Landon.
I would just like you to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've lived in Beardstown all my life, except for about 4 years at U of I. Married with one child here in town. I'm a cabinet maker, and I have my hand in everything creative.
Wonderful. So, in what ways have you been involved with the Beardstown Grand Opera House's summer productions for the past?
Uh, it goes. Oh, I'm sorry. What? I was talking over you, and I lost your audio. Try that again.
For the past about 6 years, when we started the summer productions back up at the high school.
Oh, okay. So, like for the past 6 years, mostly I've been involved in just doing sound. I moved in. Steve Wilson had been doing it for a couple of years, or maybe just 1 year before I kind of slid into his chair and took over, and had a good time expanding the equipment and microphones and so on and so forth. And it's been a good joint venture between the school and the Opera House. Directed last year, was on stage in Greece. The first year it came back in this current iteration, and done something every year since. So
Good.
mostly behind the soundboard though, and Mike and everybody up.
Good. So, what is it like? And you can talk on all three aspects shortly about what it's like to work with the cast and crews of these shows during the summer.
It's good. Every community theater production brings to it different flavors. Whether Jacksonville, Beardstown, a little bit in Springfield. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. It's nice to be able to work with some of the same people over again, because not only do you have that rapport already built in, but you kind of know what to expect from them as an actor, and know the. I don't mean this positively or negatively, but know who's reliable and who's not.
Mhm.
Um, that's more of like knowing kind of what to expect and who you can really trust on stage, and then others it's just kind of learning other
Right.
people's methods, pretty much. Yeah, I
Great.
don't think I answered all of that. What there were two other parts to it, or did I get those?
No, just kind of basically what you do and how you like working with the cast and crews during those shows. And you
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah. So
right. That was kind of a generic answer for like working on stage with them, but that also translates to running sound. You know who doesn't mess with their microphone. You know when you put them one place, you don't have to chase them around all night trying to get levels different. And once everybody, even for people who haven't worn a mic before, once they've worn it that first night, they're they're right on top of it, and everybody picks up really quickly. Of course, there's a heck of a lot more to it, but given I've done the sound primarily for the last 6 years, that's be reasonable to focus on. Yeah, so it's a good bunch.
good. Uh,
Mhm.
so I'm going to ask you two questions here. What do you like most about the summer productions?
Theater is nearly always fun. I've said before, theater isn't fun because I approach it from a work standpoint. How can I improve myself? How can I do my best to at least not cause any detriment to the rest of the project? So it's the challenge of it. It's being able to entertain. It's turning in solid performances and knowing that the audience enjoyed themselves. It's not an ego thing. I mean, I want people to have a good time. I want them to hopefully glean something from the production. And like speaking like from the sound aspect, as long as I can do it without getting an inordinately large amount of feedback, and the audience can go out there not complaining about the sound, because if you don't notice anything about the sound, that means everything was okay. It's when you notice it is when something is wrong. But so what I like about it most is just the fact that it exists, because not a lot of people do any form of theater at any time in their life. And you've probably met some folks before as well that they get in their first production. They might be 60 years old and like, oh my gosh, this was a ton of fun. And I've known people like that ever since I got into it. So it's a unique thing. People that get it. Some people do a whole lot of it, so they totally get it. And then there are people like me who don't know if they like to be on stage better or like to be behind the scenes and building things and running sound and so on and so forth. So it's hard to say what's best. The opportunity to improve on each performance if you're fortunate enough to be able to do multiple shows in a run.
Right.
Um, That's good. Really hone the craft,
Good.
or as much as we can with what we have available.
Right.
Time mostly.
So, what is the largest obstacle that you face during a summer production?
Probably, and this would go for directing last year or running sound as well. Everybody getting there at the same time. Um, it's difficult to do something when not everybody's there.
Right.
Um, a lot of people don't. I don't want to say a lot or be too presumptuous about it, but for the sake of this conversation, it seems like a lot of people don't quite grasp that they've made the commitment to be in the program or be in a show production, and they'll let other things creep into their life. And life gets in the way, stuff we cannot control, and I totally get that. When there's a choice to be made, though, I don't understand why it's not always there. But that, I mean, when we decide to do something, like speaking for myself and my family, we're in and we do it, you know, except for the things that just can't be controlled. And thankfully, we haven't been met with situations such as that.
Right.
The reason that might make a difference from a director standpoint is it's hard to direct a person if they're not there. It's not as easy for the castmates.
Right.
From a sound standpoint, I can't get their level set and then worked into the rest of the show. So there's always going to be work ahead. And I know that's part of the process and just something we deal with. It would just be nice to not have to deal with it. So go ahead. I think that's about it as far as obstacles go.
And we heard that a little bit from Kathy and Shaver in their interview. They're talking about it's hard when not everybody's there from the
It
start.
is. Right.
So I want to thank you for talking with me for this short little time. But before
Sure.
I go, is there anything you'd like to tell the people that are watching this video?
Please turn out and get a seat because you will not be disappointed. Whenever we're able to go meet again as cast and crew and then welcome an audience, no matter what it is, where it is, whether it's at the school or at the Opera House, just please keep supporting Beardstown, all the area arts. There's enough audience and enough shows to go around. And if you have any inkling at all, then please join us. We love to do it for everyone. It's a certain buzz for us, and I think it contributes. I don't mean to sound cheesy or anything, but it certainly must contribute to a better civilization.
And it sure does.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you so much for joining me again. And
Sure.
on to the next performer here. Thank you.
All right. Take care, Landon. Bye-bye.